Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Start Podcast. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and welcome to the recap, of course, of the Bayern Munich versus Mainz game from the Bundesliga that just ended, with Bayern Munich beating their opponents 5-2 at the Allianz Arena. Like, share, subscribe, of course, to the channel. Comment what you think of this game and the performance of Bayern Munich. Follow us on social media at PSP, Pitch Start Pod on Twitter. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you can get it from. And again, of course, most importantly, comment and subscribe, of course, to the channel. Help us reach the 500 subscribers mark for the moment. So this game, I think, in my opinion, was a tale of two halves, quite literally. Not in the terms of that Mainz were dominating the first half or anything like that, but it was the fact that Bayern gave too much leeway. I mean, they give leeway usually in their games, and this is the 8th game in a row where Bayern find themselves trailing and find themselves behind at halftime or at any time else. But this is different, and I think this is different because it might be a little bit more alarming than usual. Obviously, the starting lineup for Bayern was, different than usual when you think of the fact that Bayern Munich started playing the game with no Kimmich on the side, of course, starting with both Tolisso and Goretzka. Both Tolisso and Kimmich in that midfield. Not starting with Goretzka, of course, there was questions about his fitness. Starting with Gnabry and Sané and Müller behind Lewandowski. Then, of course, Gnabry was injured in the second half. There was a whole host of changes in the game for Bayern Munich, but I think the bad start and the bad first half, I think, overall. And again, it's all about standards, because when Mainz gets 6 shots on target against Bayern in the first half, that has to be alarming in any way, shape or form. It is alarming. They got 2 goals to show for it, and it was the typical, I think, Bayern Munich goals getting caught on the counter. And I think 1 goal would be fine, but 2 goals, it would have been alarming. But the second half, obviously the changes came on. Goretzka was introduced, of course, and the game was different afterwards. I mean, Goretzka just adds so much work rate that I think Tolisso, for all of his decent abilities, I'm not going to say that he's bad, he's decent really, he's very, very decent, but I think overall the impact that Tolisso has in the midfield isn't the same with Goretzka. Hopefully we're going to see Kimmich and Goretzka in the midfield once again. Pavard didn't seem fine, so he was substituted at half-time. Sané didn't have the best of performances despite starting, and, everybody, the German media, the board has been a little bit critical, if you read between the lines of what his performances have been for the club so far, but I think the team managed to turn things around, managed to really show the character that they have, the character of champions pretty much, with Bayern Munich defeating Mainz 5-2. The second half completely was different, of course. Even the start of it, the first 5 minutes were a little bit shaky, with Mainz having an opportunity to make it 3 actually in the first 5 minutes or so. But then Bayern, of course, turned the switch on, turned the flick on, no pun intended, and scored 5 goals, of course. Kimmich scored, Lewandowski made it, Lewandowski scored twice, of course. Zule with the lucky goal, I would say. Thomas Müller scoring, Leroy Sané scoring as well. So it's really, overall, I think this is a game that Bayern should learn from. This is a game that Bayern should take a lot of notes from it. Yes, they won 5. Yes, they smashed past Mainz. Top of the table. Yes, this is the natural position, but they should learn. They will not always find opponents who are just going to crumble in the second half, or are going to be crumbling after 30 or 35 minutes, or they're going to be, physically very, collapsed like Mainz were in towards the end of the game. I mean, it was obvious. Like, you could not lead 2 goals against Bayern and just sit back and expect Bayern not to score, because it looks impossible that Bayern will not score, as it is possible that Bayern will concede goals. So I think if overall I can sum up this game in 2 big ideas. Bayern are too strong offensively for teams to contain, really. It's almost impossible to contain for the other teams. Although their style of play seems pretty predictable by now, it looks pretty, well known. Like, it's the high press, it's the high line, it's the counter pressing and winning the ball early, and it's moving quickly, and the interlink play. It is well known among the team, but it is unstoppable because of the very, very big gap of quality between the players. The second note, I would say, Bayern should defend better, and a team like Bayern taking the risk of conceding a goal or two, knowing that they're going to score on the other end, is decent when you have, a decent at 1 game, 2 games, 3 games at the very most. But this is 8 games, and this is, I think, one of the most fortunate streaks for Bayern at the moment. 8 games. I have a feeling by now that probably when Bayern are going to take the lead into halftime and going to be actually leading the scoreline, they're going to collapse and lose. That is how used I became to this sort of scenario of Bayern trailing. Like, I was watching the first half unfolding, and I was at halftime. It was 2-0 Mainz, and I was like, okay, I don't have any doubt that Bayern are going to come back, and they did. But it was a little bit nervy for moments. Again, probably the worst first half Bayern had since the game against Hoffenheim. I recommend, by the way, Mainz for their strong performance in the first half. They had a terrific first half. Again, very recommendable. And again, Bayern showing the character of the champions, deserved wins as of late. A deserved win for the second half, I would say, mostly, than the first half. But playing with fire is dangerous, and it could bite Bayern later down the line. And they'll probably take advantage of the fact that Bayer Leverkusen slipped, and it seems that RB Leipzig are going to be the only club behind them in the race this season for the Bundesliga title, which is welcome because I expect RB Leipzig to be always in that scene. Also today, Dortmund finally managed to defeat Wolfsburg, so that's going to be a plus for them as well. That's it for the game between Bayern Munich and Mainz. Of course, like, share, comment on this video what you thought of the game and the performance of Bayern Munich. Subscribe to the channel, most importantly, enable notifications to receive all the updates. I'm outside PSP, want to follow me there, Pitch Sideboard on Instagram. Tomorrow, listen to the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you can get it from. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next time, hopefully, I'll be doing a Wesker vs Barcelona review if I find the proper time and motives, I would say, to do so. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next time, you'll see me soon. Goodbye.